If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? Famous words by RuPaul, a famous drag queen. I want to start here because there's a powerful message that speaks to each and every one of us in the room. I'd probably say it's the most important lesson I've learned in all my life. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? There's an important theme of self-empowerment and social transformation, and it all begins with love. Growing up in a conservative little town in the foothills, I was convinced that being gay made me an outcast. In elementary school, I was constantly teased by the other children for only hanging out with the girls. In middle school, I dated several girls as a petty attempt to prevent the homophobia and harassment that I faced nearly every day. And after coming out in 2005, my youth pastor visited me at school one day, pulled me aside, and told me that I wouldn't be welcome back at my church's vacation Bible school, even though I had taught there the last 6 years. But being gay wasn't the only thing that made me weird. I learned very quickly throughout my childhood and adolescence that being a geeky gay boy also made me an outcast. Having no real community to learn from, pop culture became my teacher for how to be the good homosexual. The few representations of gay men in the media taught me that to be a good gay guy, I need to be into fashion and design and hairdressing. Now, there isn't anything wrong with gay men who are hairdressers or into design. It just wasn't for me. I liked playing video games. I liked reading fantasy books. I liked watching sci-fi. I had adopted society's story as my own about how to live a valid and normal life. And because of that, I was certain that my life would be devoid of validity, meaning, and happiness, all for being a geeky gay gamer kid. But then, luckily, I moved away and went to college and learned some important things about myself. Instead of uncovering the truths about the world or the facts about life, I was encouraged and challenged to unlearn many of the things that society had taught me growing up. That being queer was unnatural, that men who were open with their emotions were weak, that I needed to change who I was in order to fit in with society. Instead of changing all my quirks, society needed to change and accept me for me. The more questions I had about the world, the more discomfort I had, and the more unlearning I had to do, the more I wanted to change it. That process of unlearning was exactly what I needed to really begin loving myself. As you all know, there are social norms and expectations that constantly tell us how to live our lives. And when we don't live up to these expectations, we're met with shame and ridicule and violence. Dude, man up, grow a pair, or that's not very ladylike. Or maybe you've heard, feeling guilty and overweight? Well, take these pills. We're all affected by these stories, these social narratives, and because of that, we strive to be normal. When you really think about it, though, we're all a little weird, a little quirky. We all have our own oddities. We've all been outcasts and outlaws in one way, shape, or form. Some of us never want to get married or have kids. Some of us never want to shave our legs or put on makeup. Some of us want to consensually love more than one person. And some of us want to dip our fries in our chocolate shakes in peace without judgment. And at the end of the day, that's okay. But if you honestly believe that you've never been an outlaw, let me be the first to welcome you to our club because you're surrounded by weird and quirky people now. You're an outlaw. Embrace it. Learn to love it. Hit me up after the event, and the fries and shakes will be on me. Embracing your inner outlaw is pivotal if you ever want to truly love yourself. From there, it's a matter of finding other outlaws, learning to love them, and beginning to change the world. I logged into Gamer Connect for the first time in 2012. Gamer Connect was this site for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender gamers to come together to tell our stories and to begin bringing awareness to a community that we existed. I had always wanted more of that community to talk about what it meant to be geeky and gay and a gamer, and here I had found it. Since its launch, Gamer Connect brought together queer gamers and their allies from all over the world in one online space. We talked about the importance of gaming in our lives, our experiences, our desire for more queer representation in games, and how excited we all were to meet up at the convention that would take place later that year. We called ourselves gamers. Not just the boring G-A-M-E-R-S, but rather G-A-Y-M-E-R-S. We quite literally put the gay in gamer. We all sought the same sort of authenticity and belonging, and here we had found it in this site. As outcasts, we came together and found the space to celebrate our diversity, to bring awareness to a community, and to begin actually making huge impacts in a community that we all love but felt isolated from. We set out to make a social movement inspired by our difference, our passion, and our love. And for once, I felt like I belonged. Yes, I was an outcast, and yes, I would never be normal, but I had found my outlaw community, and we were ready to change the world one conversation at a time. Embracing ourselves as outlaws is pivotal if we ever want to make a true impact in our communities and in our world. Our diversity and quirks are what make this world beautiful, and challenging the picture of what society paints as normal opens up the opportunity not only for us to love ourselves, but to begin loving others in their own uniqueness. One of my gamer friends once told me that being a gamer wasn't just a label. It wasn't even just part of his identity, but it became something representing where he belonged. It, in a sense, was home. I want to challenge you all today to seek out that outlaw in you. Learn to love it. Once you do, go out and find other outlaws. They can have the same sense of outcastness that you have, like me and my gamer friends, or they can be outlaws for a completely different reason. Find a home and build a community. Take them out for shakes and fries, and then begin changing the world. Recognizing a shared sense of outcastness, we can all come together as outlaws across our differences to truly build a world that thrives on our diversity, our respect, and our love. Ultimately, if we don't embrace the inner outlaw, we can never really love ourselves enough to truly build a world loving of others. Because if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? Thank you.